Okay, so good evening and welcome to the rendezvous with Renu and Sotheby's Jewelry. So, guys, this is one of my first live session of many more to come, and I'm super excited to have Benoit, who is a jewelry specialist of Sotheby's all the way from Geneva. And Benoit has been a very integral part of Sotheby jewelry since almost 8 years, and I'm really delighted to have him here where he will be sharing with us his vast knowledge and his vast expertise with some of the most historic and iconic jewelry pieces. So guys, thank you Sotheby's, thank you for all your support. So guys, without any delay, I'm going to invite Benoit to join us in, and you guys can keep pouring in all your questions, which we will try our best to answer all of them. Let me invite Benoit. Okay. Hi, namaste. Hi, how are you?
Thank you very much for welcoming me, and thank you for.
Thank you. And how's your day been so far?
I beg your pardon?
How's the day been so far?
Good, good, good. It's also my program live, so I hope like everyone will be quiet.
It's also my first live, so I'm sure that both of us will absolutely pull this up through. Yeah,
Exactly.
so welcome. And I actually have been getting too many questions, and I would like to forward them to you. So to begin with, first of all, I would like to ask you that, your first memory with jewelry.
Well, that probably a long time ago. I've always been interested in jewelry. My father is an art expert, so we used to receive old auction catalogs and Gazette de l'Hôtel in France at home. And I've been flipping through the auction catalogs, and I've always focused more on the jewelry part. So my father is dealing with everything but jewelry. So I don't know if this is why I focused on jewelry, because I wanted to do something a bit different. But like as we all, or most of us, are stuck at home, we're going through our
Right.
old and I could find things actually from middle school with like papers from the auction catalogs when I was like taking things away and keeping them and drawing some jewelry design as well. So I've been like
Right.
much jewelry. Probably it was 10 years ago.
Wow, that's a long time. That's really a long time. So is sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Do you mean I'm old if you say it's a long time ago?
No, not at all. Not at all. Okay, so I would like to know that when did you realize that jewelry was a true calling?
So like after really like this interest in jewelry like growed, like it grew like over the time. So when I was in high school, I thought about being more like either a designer or a jeweler. But
Okay.
in high school, I was doing like sciences. So my teachers, etc., said that if you want to be a jeweler, you have to do a CAP, what we call a CAP. So
Right.
said it's probably better to do like to go to university, etc. So then I chose like the specialist route, and I went to university to study history and art history first.
Oh, nice. So which university was this where you went?
I beg your pardon?
Which university was this?
In Lyon, in France.
Okay. Okay, interesting. So now I thought of doing something fun. So this will be a quick rapid fire where I will pull out a card and you will share a short story about it. To begin with, the emerald jewelry.
So as you know, we are at home, so I will take the help from some of our auction catalogs, maybe to mention some of the pieces you're asking about. So emerald jewelry would definitely be the Donnersmarck tiara. You might have all seen
Oh,
that tiara
yes.
that was sold in 2011, May 2011. That was actually one of the first jewels I saw when I started at Sotheby's, because even if the auction happened before I started, the piece was still with us in the safe. So this is one of the first pieces of jewelry that was put on my desk to admire.
Wow.
So it's like a very fond memory of me, for me. And it was made probably by Chaumet, circa 1900, for Prince Guido Enkel von Donnersmarck, for his second wife, Katharina, and it sold for 12.7 million, which is still
Wow.
for a tiara and an emerald jewel at auction.
Right. So I just saw somebody had asked that what's the name of the book? If you can tell us the name of the book, please.
So this is not this is an auction catalog. So this
Okay.
is the auction catalog from May 2011, and
Okay.
actually this tiara is also illustrated in several books by Chaumet, and it was part of the Chaumet Majesty exhibition in Monaco last summer.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, moving on to the next bit, Cartier.
Cartier. So, well, I could mention a lot of pieces from Cartier, as you probably guess. One of them would be the one from November 2012. It was actually my first auction at Sotheby's, and it's this beautiful pearl and diamond bracelet and onyx by Cartier from 1925, and it was part of the collection of Queen Victoria Eugenie of Spain. So you have this beautiful design by Cartier with a nice collection of conch pearl with a beautiful flame structure, and it sold for 3.5 million in 2012 with the provenance and everything.
Wow, that's interesting. So talking about conch pearls, I would like to ask you about natural pearls.
Natural pearls, well, probably most of you have heard about Marie Antoinette's pearl that we had the chance to offer at auction in November 2018 as part of the collection of the Bourbon Parma family. So this is the most important, the highest price ever paid at auction for a natural pearl. So it's this beautiful natural pearl and diamond pendant that was part of the collection of Marie Antoinette, who is obviously like the most famous queen of France and probably of the world. And at the beginning, so you can see this 19th century, the 18th century, sorry, bow motif on top of the pearl. And it was originally part of a 3-year.
Oh my God.
And the pearl is very large, very long actually. The length of it is 25.85 millimeter. So it's a very large natural pearl. So obviously the value of it is important, but the provenance impacted the final price, which was 36 million. So actually 3 times more than the previous record at auction for the Peregrina, which was part of Elizabeth Taylor's collection.
Wow, that's so interesting. So moving on from natural pearl, tell us something about Bulgari.
Bulgari. So Bulgari is obviously, as we all know, an Italian brand, and it's been like very much looked after by Italian socialites or actresses, part of the Dolce Vita. And Sotheby's had the chance to offer the collection of Gina Lollobrigida in May 2015, so the Italian actress. And she had obviously several pieces from Bulgari. One of them was the diamond necklace bracelet combination that actually Gina Lollobrigida used also to wear on her hair as a tiara. And it was a very interesting 1950s design, I think 1954. Yes, if I remember correctly. So you have like this nice necklace that you could actually separate into 2 bracelets.
It's an all diamond necklace?
I beg your pardon?
It's an all diamond necklace, is it?
They're all diamonds, and like a little bit I used to wear it as a tiara as well.
Amazing. Really amazing. Well, moving forward, diamond ring.
Diamond ring, there is also quite a lot we can talk about. Obviously, the most important one ever auctioned, ever sold at auction is the Pink Star, a 59.6 carat fancy vivid pink diamond that sold for 71 million. So it holds the record for any jewel and any gemstone at auction. So you probably all know that one. But
yes, I've seen this one.
I want to share more like a more fun, like an interesting story. I love stories behind the jewels. So there was in June 2017, we had the chance to offer in London. You might have read about it in the press. The tenor diamond, what was called the tenor diamond, press. So that's a quite interesting story. The lady bought it for £10 in a car boot sale, and she thought it was just kind of a piece of crystal and a kind of fun to wear. And she's been wearing it for 30 years before thinking maybe I would like to know if it's mounted in gold. So she went to someone to have the metal, and the person said, yeah, it is actually made gold, and maybe you must check the central. It might be an interesting one. So the lady came to us, but indeed a very nice old fashion cut diamond, 26 carat. So instead of £10, we put an estimate of 350 to 450.
Wow. Wow. And she thought it was a crystal.
I beg your pardon?
And she thought it was a crystal. It wasn't a diamond, it was a crystal.
She thought, yeah, she thought it was a diamond, but it appeared to be like a 26 carat old cut, high color, clarity. And
that's something interesting.
£650,000, so $850,000. So you can see auction is the way to go if you have luxury to sell.
Totally, auction is the way to go. All right. Let's hear something about Van Cleef and Arpels.
Van Cleef and Arpels. The recorded auction for Van Cleef and Arpels is the Valse Cabriolet diamond brooch, so with a very large, fancy, vivid yellow briolet diamond that was part of the section of Valse. But one jewel that is more interesting to me is this necklace and actually the pair of earrings, very much Indian design from Van Cleef & Arpels in the 1960s. So the Indian jewelry influenced a lot the Western jewelry in the 1920s and 30s, the Art Deco period as we know, but it came back in the 60s and 70s. And this one was a very good example with this very long sautoir set with gems. And that was 6 million.
Wow, that's really interesting. How about blue sapphire?
Blue sapphire. So yeah, for each of the jewels you mentioned, I have obviously several stories. Personal one on that note about sapphires. I have someone I know who asked me for advice for the engagement ring of her mother that she inherited. It was an 11.84 carat, very nice, now Deco ring, 1930s. And she went to see several people who say it was not safe to wear it because it was
right.
And actually, there was a fissure inside the stone that was reaching the surface, but it was absolutely safe to wear it. Except I told her if you don't bang it on the corner of the table 10 times, you have to be safe to wear it. And she said, what would be the value of it? Is it worth insuring it? And for sapphires, the most important factor is the origin of the stone. So it's from Kashmir, Burma. So I said it's either Ceylon, Sri Lanka stone, that in that case will be around 30,000-50,000. But it might be also a Kashmir stone, and in that case, the auction estimate will be 350 to 450,000. And insurance value would be more around 650,000. So obviously it was a very sentimental jewel, as most of the jewelry, because it was her mother's engagement ring. So it took her time to decide to part with it. But then she told me that it was safe to wear it, but the value, I wanted to wear it. So she finally agreed to sell it, and it sold for 650,000. So, and when she inherited it, 10 or 15 years before the auction, she saw several people who gave an estimate of 2,000 or 4,000. So, her siblings say, well, you can keep mom's ring, it will be a nice souvenir. And instead of 4,000, that was the highest estimate given at the time, was 150,000. So obviously, very nicely and kindly, she said, I will split the money with my. But more recently, an interesting piece of jewelry, with a sapphire, was this, probably you know as well.
Wow,
Sapphire and diamond bracelet by Cartier, 1927. that we sold last November in Geneva. And it was set at the center with a 47 karat Burmese sugar sapphire. Beautiful color, beautiful cut. And it sold, the pre-auction estimate was 2 to 3 million, and it's sold for 6.1 million.
Wow, amazing. So moving forward, I would like to understand from you that what factors are considered, when you value a jewelry, a signed piece of jewelry.
So you already said like signed. So obviously the signature is a very
Yes.
valuable if it's from one of the main jewelry houses, and the craftsmanship, the way it's done. Also the era, the period where the jewel was. So you have different eras on the way it was made. The quality of the stone, as I mentioned earlier, for sapphires, for example, the origin is very important. Also, some of the stones can be treated or enhanced by heating for sapphire rubies, or with pillars in the fissures for emeralds, for example, or even like an artificial color modification for natural pearls. So the fact that we really consider also the quality of the stones, all natural, the origin of the stones, but the design and the maker is also, as you say, very important. And sometimes if it's an Art Deco piece, obviously the quality was not that important back in the days. So you don't have the forces for the diamond, you don't have the flow of the diamond. Usually like a bit off color with some inclusions, but in these particular cases, really the design and the period of the jewel is more important. And I would say the third factor is also the provenance.
Yes, I was just going to ask you about that.
So there you go.
Yes.
So the provenance definitely impacts the value. As I mentioned earlier, Marie Antoinette's pearl sold for 36 million because of the provenance. It was a very large natural pearl, but it was slightly baroque drop shaped. So not very regular in shape, very large in size, but really the provenance is what drove like the price at this level at 36 million. We have another example. For example, in 2012, we sold the Beaucency, which was 4.98 carat. I must have it somewhere as well. Probably know the stone as well. This one. So it was a double rose cut diamond, K color and SI. Not very good color, not very good clarity, but the provenance was amazing because it was both Henry IV, King of France, from his wife, Marie, and it was on top of her crown for her coronation, as one can see in France Courbus Le Jeune portrait. So at the top of her crown, the Beaucency. And then when she went to exile, the stone went to the royal families of England, Orange-Nassau family, and then ended up in the royal family of Prussia. And it was sold by the Prussian royal family. Like a pre-auction estimate of 1.8 to 3.6 million, it sold for more than 9 million. So again, like the provenance made it, like sold it very well.
So the provenance really impacts the value of the entire piece of jewelry. It really goes very higher, depending on where the jewelry comes from. Wow.
It definitely does. Like collectors and collectors really pay attention to the provenance and the history behind the jewels. It's very difficult to know how much it will impact the value and the final price. So when we give an estimate, we do add a little bit for the provenance, but it's really the market will tell us how much it impacted the provenance. Because for Marie Antoinette, we were hoping for a very good result because of everything I say, like the 18th century jewel, very large natural pearl, and Marie Antoinette's provenance. But to be honest, we're not expecting 36 million. That was really a good result. We were all astonished by it. So it's really when you have like two connoisseurs, two collectors who want are fighting for a piece of jewelry, then you can achieve like those amazing results.
I'm sure about that. So tell me, which is your most memorable valuation at Sotheby's?
Well, same thing. I have several as well, but I would say, as you could probably see, I'm more into jewels than stones, even if I like also stones and the quality of them. But I remember seeing more than a year ago, I went to see a client in Banks, and when she opened the drawer, there was a very nice long um, rock crystal diamond sautoir by Chaumet. And she also had all the copies of the archives from Chaumet, saying that it was from the Comtesse Molitor in 1929. And even the Comtesse Molitor went to Chaumet with old jewelry pieces with an old 19th century Riviera and a brooch. And she asked Chaumet to take turns to make very Art sautoir that you could also split into bracelets and brooch.
Okay.
It was also part of the Chaumet exhibition in Monaco last summer, and like the value of it, like it's rock crystal and diamond, so the value is very much into in the signature, the design, the Art Deco period, and collectors obviously sold for it. So it sold for $530,000. So that was a very good result for a beautiful piece of jewelry.
Wow, that's really interesting to know. So now, can you please guide us through the procedure of an auction at Sotheby's? I've always seen it happening online on your Sotheby's social media handles. So can you please guide us through the entire procedure?
Yeah, absolutely. So before the auction, we have the public exhibition. So all the lots are exhibited.
Okay.
All are welcome to come and try them on and look at the stones. So please do come to our auctions and our auction rooms.
Of course.
We have two different types of auction as well. We have online sales. We have live auctions. So for the moment, we have an sale in London. So you can go on our website and browse through the 260 lots that we're offering. Bidding are closing on the 7th of April. So in that case, you have like a window to bid between 7 and 10 days. And then bid online, you just register and click. But for a live auction, you have 4 different ways of bidding. You can either be in the room, so in Geneva, London, Paris, Hong Kong, or New York for our jewelry sales, or you can be on the telephone. So in that case, before the auction, you tell Sotheby's, I want to bid on these lots. And in that case, one of our colleagues will call you, and you will be over the phone bidding at the same time as the auction goes on. Then you have absentee bids. So that means before the auction, you tell Sotheby's that you're happy to bid on these lots up to this amount. So in that case, the auctioneer will bid on your behalf up to the amount you left. Obviously, if there is no one else bidding against you, you will get a cheaper price. Right. But they are bidding on your behalf. And the fourth way is bidding online. So you can follow all of our auctions online, and you can just bid by clicking on the button. And in that case, on the screen in the room, so the auction knows that you are bidding.
Right. So then I believe that in spite of the entire lockdown period, one can yet view the entire catalog, one can yet bid for the upcoming auctions as you just spoke about.
I beg your pardon?
So I believe that in spite of the entire lockdown, which we all are locked down currently, and since you mentioned that you guys do have an auction coming up, so one can very much bid online and can see through the entire catalog.
Absolutely. So during like this period, we're going, you can absolutely look at our website. You can like bid. We have sales going on. We have contemporary. We have design. We have jewelry, as I mentioned. So like our auction is still going on live, online. Sorry, but then there will be obviously some delay in the shipment, etc., until the office is reopened.
Wow, interesting. So, which is the most memorable sale that you have conducted at an auction?
It is without any contest the Bourbon Parma sale. So the royal jewels from the Bourbon Parma family that we held in November 2018. We've been working on that sale for a long time, several years. I've been very much involved with cataloging of it. And that was really beautiful to see family collection built over centuries, because we had 100 lots. Some of them went back to Empress Maria Theresa of the Holy Roman Empire, then Marie Antoinette, then the Duchess of Angoulême, so my daughter, then to the Duke of Parma, to the Austrian family. So we had all these links with like European history. And also, we are very lucky that the family gave us the archives. And there was an inventory made by Princess Maria of Austria, Princess Elia of Bourbon-Parma, after her father-in-law passed away in 1970. And then she updated it when her mother, Princess Isabelle de Crouy, Archduchess of Austria, passed away in 1930. So we had the details of each jewel mentioning the product when it was given by her father-in-law for the birth of one of her sons, when it was a gift from the emperor for a wedding. So it was really astonishing, and we could see like the interest of all the collectors around the world.
Wow.
Did a traveling exhibition before the sale. So some of the highlights go to our offices in New York, Hong Kong, Singapore, Taipei, London, and we could really see the interest worldwide and the fascination for historic jewels. And the whole sale made almost $55 million, which is a record for a sale of historic jewels. So this will definitely probably remain the highlight of my career. We'll see.
Wow, that's amazing. So in between, somebody had asked a question, is there any course or an online program of how can one be an auctioneer?
How to become an auctioneer?
Yes, yes.
So it really depends on the country.
Okay.
In France, for example, you have to hold a degree in art history and law, whereas in Hong Kong or the UK, you don't need anything.
Okay.
In Switzerland, you need an authorization from the canton. So it really depends on the country. Then when you work for a major house, as Sotheby's, for example, we have an internal training how to conduct the auction and how to be an auctioneer. And then it's internal, and then we need to ask the agreement for each country.
Oh, wow. So talking about countries, is there any plan of Sotheby Jewelry to have its presence in India?
So we do have an office in Mumbai, and
yes.
India is a very important country for jewelry. It's part of the history of India as well, with all the Maharajas and their beautiful jewelry and gemstones collection. That, as we said earlier, it's really impacted French jewelry houses and Europe in the 20th century. And also we do have a lot of, obviously, like in India, there is a lot also of gem cutters and natural cutters. So India is a very important country for jewelry. We have an office there, as I mentioned, and our colleagues are liaising with the jewelry specialists worldwide to get estimates, advice, appraisals on the piece of jewelry, and then we can see how we can offer them at auction.
Okay. So I would like to share, I did visit your Sotheby's Mumbai office, and I was gifted with this catalog. I just want to show you this catalog. So I could see Niharika Anand from the Sotheby's Mumbai office. So Niharika, thank you very much for this book which you have given me. So this was a lovely gift which I received from Sotheby Mumbai, and each time I flip through this book, trust me, I'm so mesmerized by all the jewelry pieces inside this. So moving forward, I would like to ask you about, to walk us through the procedure for consignment at Sotheby's.
Absolutely. So if you want to consign at Sotheby's, or like if you want to have an advice or opinion, an estimate of the jewelry you have, either because it's an estate or because you want to insure them or just to have an idea of what you have, because you open your drawer during this lockdown, the confinement, and you found the jewelry that you've completely forgotten. Right. So in that case, you can absolutely submit it to our specialist. You can go to the website sotheby's.com. And when you sell, you have then the whole process of submitting online. Or you can call our local offices or email our specialist with details of the jewels, with photographs, and we will give a first opinion. In most of the cases, we will need to see the jewel to really confirm the estimate. But most of the time we can give you like a first opinion pending selection. And then if we agree with the estimates, we also set a reserve price. So that means if the bidding like doesn't reach that level during the auction, the jewel will remain unsold. So then you can either have it back or reoffer it in another auction with a revised estimate. And then when we agree with the estimate and the reserve price, we need obviously the piece in our office approximately 2 months before the sale. So we have time to photograph it, to catalog it, because obviously it takes a long time to, as I mentioned, for each jewel there is like a picture and the description. Yes. For some of the items we need to send them to the lab to have the origin of the stone, the quality, etc. So we need like 2 months before, prior to the auction. And then you receive obviously a contract, a sale agreement, you receive a catalog as well, and then the auction goes on, and then we send you them.
Yeah, that's interesting. So on a whole, we need a 2 months period from the time we reach out to you till the time you see the entire photographs, you go through your emails, and if the piece is convincing, then you call for the piece at your Sotheby's office. Is that what you mean?
So no, we need 2 months between the item in the office,
Okay.
2 months prior to that, so we can photograph the testing to the lab and the cataloging, etc.
All right. So
We have 2 main auctions a year, Magnificent Jewels and Noble Jewels, mid-May and mid-November, and we usually close the catalog around March and September. So we need 2 months before.
wow, wow. So, talking about the era of jewelry, since you've spoken about that jewelries do come from different eras and from different periods. So, which is your favorite period of jewelry and why?
Well, that's kind of a classic answer, but it's actually true. Like, I really like Art Deco jewelry. I think
that's also my favorite. Art Deco, you said, yeah. It's always so classy, right? Yes.
But like the delicacy of it, like the fineness of the craftsmanship, the very interesting design, the new designs, either tutti frutti, the very geometric ones,
Yes.
like have like onyx, coral, diamonds. Like I think it's a very period. But also I think we have to discover other eras and periods as well. And I like more bold gold jewelry as well, like from the 40s, and then what they've done in the 70s. Very colorful with turquoise and amethyst going together, and like very interesting as well. I think for the history of jewelry.
There's such a history and there's so much of vast knowledge and information that goes behind each era and each period of jewelry. It's amazing.
Well, you learn, like, the more you see, obviously, the more you learn. And I will definitely learn all of my career, like just being confronted to some beautiful jewelry pieces and being able to examine them. So.
It's absolutely wonderful. So actually, I have been doing the entire series on evolution of jewelry, where I'm going to be soon talking about the evolution of jewelry right from the ancient period to the Georgian period. Then it comes to the Art Deco to the 1950. So believe me, when I was doing my entire research, it took me like good 2 weeks time to understand the differences between each era, between each period. So that's how the whole interest towards learning about ancient jewelry and different eras just evolved, And the more you read, the more interesting it gets. And you have so many questions. Okay, how was this era different from this era? How was this period different from that period? It's just so beautiful and it's just so vast.
Absolutely. And even like, as you say, like from the ancient times to today, even us, actually, we're not specialists of all of them. When it's when it's archaeology, it will be like our like antique specialists for antiquities. When it's like 16th, 17th, and even like 18th, it will be more European works of art specialists. And jewelry specialists are focusing much more on the 19th century to today. So even like inside the jewelry, you have like several specialists involved.
Wow, it's so vast, right? I would really love to come to Geneva and to visit your Sotheby's office and to get all the insight about jewelry and the provenance and the making.
But definitely, like everyone should come to like the auction and auction room to look at the jewels because you learn much more looking at the pieces themselves than from anybody. Like you can listen like about jewel books or even read, but if you don't handle the jewels, if you don't look at them yourself, if you don't take your look at the craftsmanship, the quality of the stones, like it's completely different. So like auctions and exhibitions are open to the public, so you're more than welcome to come and the jewels and handle them. And where
Hopefully hopefully once this entire lockdown period that's over, I shall make a visit soon to Geneva for sure.
perfect.
So moving forward, which is your, let me ask you about that any one piece of jewelry that you could own.
So obviously I won't be able to wear it, but I've always been fascinated by tiaras. And I
Oh,
think tiaras are really like the epitome of elegance, and you can also really feel the story behind it. Like, and I like tiaras that can be also versatile. So you can wear them either as necklaces or brooches,
yes.
because obviously tiaras, you don't wear them every day when you're in the market. So it's quite nice that you can wear jewelry different ways. Yeah, I think it will definitely be a tiara. But then which one, it's difficult to choose. Probably one also with an historic background. In that case, I can go probably for the natural pearl and diamond tiara from Empress Eugenie, which is part of the Louvre collection today. I will never be able to get it, obviously, but it's like provenance from Empress Eugenie, and then it was sold by the Third Republic in the 1880s, and bought by the Prince von Taxis, and it's remained in the Taxis family in 1992 when it was auctioned at Sotheby's, and it was bought by Les Amis du Musée du Louvre, so it went back to France, and it's now part of the Galerie d'Apollon at the Louvre.
Wow. It's just so beautiful to like understand the entire history and the provenance, and to understand the detailing and the history about each and every jewelry that is speaking about. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. It's very interesting.
So last
Comfortable with it, but
right. Lastly, I would like to know which one is the most iconic jewelry collector.
Oof, that's also a difficult question. There are a lot of collectors. Obviously, jewelry has always been a collectible item. Monarchs and kings, etc., collecting jewelry as like to show their power, to show their importance. Louis XIV had an amazing of gems and jewels, also thanks to the Cardinal Mazarin, who gave all of his collection to the king. And then obviously it continued in France. And for example, Napoleon I, when he became emperor, he understood the importance of the grandeur of jewelry to show the power and to show the importance of France and of his empire. So he ordered a lot of jewelry pieces to Nito, which was for the empresses, for Empress Josephine and then Empress Marie-Louise. But also you have obviously in India the Maharajas that had amazing jewelry collections and gemstones that really were absolutely fabulous, and still, like everyone is still dreaming about collections of the Maharaja from Patia, Laura.
Right.
And then also in the 20th century, also you have all the very important socialites that were like jewelry aficionados with Barbara Hutton, with Daisy Fellows, with Duchess of Windsor, obviously. The Duchess of Windsor, I have to mention it because we had the privilege to sell our collection in 1987 as well. And some of the jewels came back at auction in 2010, and they sold for record prices because of the provenance and the quality of the stones and the items, obviously. So yeah, it would be difficult for me to pick only one, but still jewelry collectors today. And for example, we have a client from Asia who is a very important collector, and he is very interested also in educating people. So he did this amazing exhibition in China, mainland China, Awake, with 200 years of European jewelry. So he was really trying to show the evolution of style and jewelry from like the 18th century to today. So we have amazing jewelry collectors, and jewelry are very much.
Since you mentioned about the Maharajas, is there any one particular piece of jewelry of the Indian Maharaja which you have seen?
Well, recently, November 2019, we offered, let me get the catalog again.
Oh, lovely.
We had very nice, very important emerald and diamond pendant.
Oh, yes.
And actually, it was not signed. There was no detail about it. We found it in the Hans Nadeloffer's book about Cartier. So thanks to that, we knew that it was Cartier 1927 and made for a Maharaja. Actually, at the beginning, yeah, we don't have the picture in here, but I have it on my phone. But I'm doing an Instagram, so I can show you. But it's a very long necklace.
Yeah, it's a long necklace.
Emerald drops, and then at the like the pendant was this piece. So the necklace disappeared. This pendant was part of the very important necklace from Maharaja.
Wow. Yeah, because I do remember posting about that particular pendant and the necklace very recently. So I had done the whole series about the jewelers of Maharaja, so the jewels worn by the Indian Maharaja. And that's the time I remember doing my research and I posted about this beautiful necklace. So,
Yes.
so it's really beautiful.
Renu's Instagram to find the pictures of the original.
Oh yeah. So let's see if we have any questions here. Let me just go through them. So somebody's asked.
We have a gemology expertise. So yes, actually I can just explain how I probably became a jewelry specialist if you want. So I studied, so I had 2 bachelors in history and art history. And then I did a master's degree keeping both disciplines. And then I worked like quickly in a local house in France. And then I did the Gemological Institute of America. So I'm a graduate gemologist from the GIA. So to be a jewelry specialist, in most cases, we have like history or art history background together with the gemological course.
Oh, wow. Wow. So somebody's asked, auction always takes place at Geneva?
So no, for jewelry in Europe, we have London, Paris, and Geneva. As I mentioned earlier, we have one running at the moment in London. Online, but I mean the jewels are in London, so the auction is conducted in pounds. So for Europe, we have like the main auction. The most important ones are in Geneva, but then we have also fine jewels auction in London, Paris, and then worldwide we have also New York and Hong Kong. So we have 5 places to sell jewelry at Sotheby's.
And now you have to do something in India. You know, you have to do something. Sotheby's has to do something, you know, like maybe have a jewelry department set up in Mumbai or an auction department, something. We really look forward to having Sotheby's in India.
I'm more than visit anyway.
Yeah. Somebody's asked, who decides the maximum and the minimum price of pieces, Sotheby's or the sellers?
So no, it's like the Sotheby's specialists who will give the estimate, so with the range, with the low estimate and the high estimate. But there is always also a discussion with the seller because we have to agree with the sellers on, on the reserve price. And by law, the reserve price can't be higher than the low estimate. So if we put an estimate, for example, of 10 to 15,000, the reserve price will be at 10,000 or below. So there is always a discussion to agree on the price. But the estimate is given by Sotheby's specialists.
By Sotheby's specialists. All right, let's see what we have next. Somebody asked how to be an auctioneer at Sotheby's, which I believe we've already answered.
I think I did. Yeah, it's internal at Sotheby's. You have to be professional or like part of a department most of the time. And then it's like internal training and then get the approval from the top auction from the company.
Is there any courses? You can check my profile. Let me just go through if there's any interesting questions. Most of them are repeated, so yeah. Something that you would like to share?
Something that I would like to share.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. It's quite vast.
It's quite vast.
Really the best say, it's like really fun to discover the auction. It's a very particular world, but absolutely fascinating. Like being in contact with such beautiful pieces is a huge chance, but
I'm
also
sure.
all the auction game, and it's something very particular that I personally enjoy very much. So I think it's something that one must cover at least once in his lifetime.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm really looking forward to visiting and seeing a live auction because that's something I've always dreamt about. And definitely, I'm going to make a plan to visit Geneva very soon after the entire lockdown. Hopefully, yeah.
Right. Keep us.
Yeah. So thank you so much for all your time and for all your valuable information. So guys, I would just have to say that Benoit has to go for an important conference meeting. So in case if you do have any further questions or you would like him to answer, please DM him or message me. We will definitely share all the valuable inputs with each one of you all. So till then, thank you so much for doing this for all of us. Was really pleasure having you here.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me for Rendezvous with Benoit, and I'm looking to the next one. And thank you all for joining, and back for the confinement and the isolation.
Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Bye.